Hello and welcome to Conservation Games, the game from around the world here in our computers as we bring world famous sporting people, Zimbabweans, South Africans, Botswanans, all over the world, wherever they are placed now to come and play our conservation games, all for good cause as we try and raise awareness and funds for the saving of animals in the Zambezia area. Go to www.zambezia.com. You'll find out some more information, you'll find out the rules, and you'll find out how you can participate and support these worthy causes. Like I said, we've had some fantastic sportsmen on the show to date, and today is no different. We have two Zimbabweans for you, two different sports, but as famous and as big as each other, one in South Africa and one in Zimbabwe. So we'll start with the further afield, and doesn't need too much introduction apart from that he will be representing Team Leopards. And a very warm welcome to the oldest sibling and well-known tennis player, Byron Black. Byron, so nice to have you. How are you keeping in White River, is it?
How's it? Yeah, Dirk, the tallest sibling, I remember that.
Oh, is it the tallest as well? I left that out.
No, doing well, thanks. Doing some farming here in White River, near Nelspruit.
And the lockdown for you being on the farm, probably a little bit easier, but it's tough around the world.
Very relaxed. Yeah, very relaxed. At least we can carry on. It's a very small town, and we've been lucky. We've been able to get on with things.
Good. Well, nice to have you here, and thank you very much for participating. And we look forward to your knowledge, not only on yourself, but guess what? Your participant, the one that you'll participate against today, he'll be representing Team Leopards all the way from freezing cold Marindera, no doubt, but looks like he's not very cold. Ex-Zimbabwe international rugby player, Dave Kirkman. How are you?
All good here.
Let's get into the game. Dave Kirkman, because I know that you're in the education system and you guys are meant to be polite and lift your hats to visitors and whatever, you're going to allow Byron to pick. So Byron, I have a ring finger and a non-ring finger. Which hand would you pick to win the toss?
Ring finger.
So ring finger. Byron, you have won the toss, and you can decide whether or not you serve first or you would like Dave Kirkman to serve.
I'll serve first.
So your first question for Dave Kirkman, please, Byron.
Dave, in 1993, you played debut match against Wales at the police grounds. Name the Zim Scrum.
Zim Scrum, that means the whole scrum or the people in the scrum?
The whole scrum of people.
The whole scrum.
Okay. Let me think. Number one, Gary Snyder.
Correct.
2, Brian Beattie. 3, Adrian Garvey. 4 was Robbie Temblon. 5 was Tendai Tapuma. 6 was Sean Lamlin. 7, Brendan Dawson. And number 8, myself.
Cheapers, Byron, you're up against some serious competition here. That's on the head in order 1 to 8.
Cheapers.
And it didn't even look like he really paused. Do you think he's got some notes there on the big whiteboard in that Peterhouse Hall?
Yes, it's Dave. Well done.
Yeah.
Right, so 2 points to Dave Kirkman as he takes an early lead. Your second question, please.
Your last test was against Namibia in Windhoek in 1998. Who played fullback for Zimbabwe?
I think it was Victor Longa.
That's correct, Dave. You actually played a lot with Victor Alonga and was noted for many years as a great rugby player. He was a fantastic athlete, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was unbelievable. Yeah.
Dave, you now have some questions for Byron. You have 4 questions there. Pick me 2, please.
Right, Byron. Looking at your stats on win versus loss on various surfaces, it seems that grass surfaces suit your game the most. Do you know what your win-loss ratio is on grass on the ATP circuit?
Yo. Dave, can you find an easier question?
So
okay, let me go.
I'll have a guess. I'll have a crack at it.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to give you 10% either way, Byron. So obviously your answer is going to be in favor of grass because we've told you that. So your percentage win on grass versus clay, and I'll give you 10% on each number. How's that?
Okay. Grass versus clay, eh? Dirk, I'm still guessing. Yeah, 60%.
I'm gonna give that to you because it's actually 55.
Hey,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Byron.
So not
Yes.
bad at all, Byron. I suppose key for you was, which a lot of people might not know, but obviously growing up here in Harare, Dad had made his own grass courts. So that was obviously a lot of practice for you that you were more comfortable on grass.
Yeah, 100%. Dirk, every 10 years, he would build another grass tennis court, and it was like a year-long process to build a court. And he became a master of it. He played in Wimbledon in the late 50s and early 60s, actually traveled with night apes. Can you believe that, on the ship?
Really?
So it's pretty cool. Went over there, came back with that vision of Wimbledon and started building one grass court, and then the second, third, and the fourth finally. So, yeah, he was absolute master. I mean, these were better than bowling greens, better than the courts at Wimbledon, because they get worked, they get buggered up properly over the 2 weeks. But his were immaculate, huh?
Right. You have another question for Byron, please, Dave. You owe him one. You currently trail by 2 in the segment, Byron. So your next question, please, Dave.
Byron, in one of your games in Australia, there was a young lady who called from the stands, and you went over to her, and she handed you a piece of paper with a number on it. What was the telephone number?
Gee, I wish that had happened to me. It didn't happen too often, Dave, eh?
Okay, an easy one. In 1998, you played with your brother Wayne in the Davis Cup held in Mildura. You won against Australia in the reverse singles. What was the score?
Sure. It was 2 matches all, and I won the 5th rubber against Jason Stoltenberg. I think I won in 4 sets, but yeah, it was for all the marbles. It was one of our better wins, and Australia had quite a good team, and we had so much fun. It was really special.
So 3-2, you guys won that in the end. That was quite an upset in that pool, wasn't it?
It was massive for us. I mean, Wayne and I basically, and remember Genius Chizikwi, Rashid Hassan, Kevin Elliott in later years. We've been sort of going for 14, 15 years we worked from Euro-African zone, or we came from the African zone, Euro-African zone 1, 2, 3. It took about 15 years to get into the world group. And then we won our first game against Aussie. So it was quite special.
So at the end of round 1, both players 4 apiece. We're going to move on to our conservation questions. We're going to start with Byron. Right, so these questions have been known to be reasonably tough. So they carry 2 points each. Both of you have 2 questions. Your first 2 for you, Byron. Your favorite animal is the leopard tortoise. Can you name another type of tortoise found in Zimbabwe?
Hingeback tortoise.
Correct. So the exact word, I'm not going to give you the Latin version, but the Bell's hinged tortoise. But the hinged tortoise we will accept. Interesting is that do you have any tortoises at home, Byron?
I've got 4 huge ones. They've dug about 9 nests in the last 2 months. So I'm going to have lots of babies next year, I hope. And I think I asked Luke earlier about Tommy, that Galapagos tortoise at Lion and Cheetah Park. He actually needs a bit of help right now. And I remember seeing him, Dirk, 45 years ago, and he was pretty much the same size. I reckon he's 200 to 300 years old. Yeah. And quite an interesting story in how he got to Zim. I don't know the full story, but it's one of, every time I come back to Zim, I go and see him. And if you tickle under his arm, he stands up like those old Citroen cars. He like stands straight up. And as long as you, I mean, he weighs probably 300-400 kgs. As long as you tickle him under his like armpit, he'll stay standing for like an hour. It's quite amazing.
That's not that amazing, because Dave Kirkman does that as well if you tickle him under the arm, Byron. So having said that, that's quite interesting about that tortoise, because there's an article about him circulating at the moment where, because he's at the Lion and Cheetah Park still, and they're asking for people to donate money because they want to rebuild his pool, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently the fact that because he's now so big, he can't fit in that pool anymore, and he needs to be in water for his body to soak up liquid, and they're actually calling now to raise funds to build him a new pool, because they just can't keep watering him anymore. So we hope that they do sort that out.
100% Dirk, and yeah, he's got a special place in my heart, that guy. And you know, I'd love to get him on loan to South Africa and find him a female. You can imagine he hasn't seen a female tortoise for probably 100 years. So yeah, it's one of my, we're obviously going to raise some money for him and see if he can come on loan to South Africa. I know they do that. Obviously the paperwork's pretty serious, but it would be quite a challenge. I don't know if he's up for the journey, but something different. I think it'd be a great Netflix little
story.
Or a series, little documentary. Would be quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think everybody's been on the back of that tortoise, eh?
Correct.
Yeah.
I just don't know about, you haven't seen a woman for over 100 years, how that's going to go though. Right, here we go. Byron, you got that correct. So you lead 6 points to 4. Your second conservation question, your favorite park is Mana Pools. What are the trees that the elephants stand up on 2 legs to reach?
Acacia albida. I know they've got a new name. Well, Fadeherdia albida. I know they've got a new Latin name. I think the Australians changed it. Dirk, I'm not sure, but albida trees.
Did you know that, Mr. Kirkman?
No, but I do know.
You do know. So part of the conservation games is education for all of us. So you learned that. So that's great. That is totally correct, Mr. Byron Black. So when you were worried about how tough this game was going to be, you don't seem to be struggling for me. So congratulations, another 2 points at the end of that half segment. You got both of those right. We move on to Dave Kirkman for his conservation questions. A quick stretch there, Mr. Kirkman, as I introduce your favorite park, Matusadona National Park. If the lake itself is at an altitude of approximately 480 meters, do you have your calculator with you? What is the height of the top of the Matusadona Range and mountains?
The top of the mountains, 480, say 1,080.
1,080. Would you have a rough idea, Byron? It doesn't count any points for you, but would you like to have a guess?
I wouldn't even know, eh? I'll leave that one to Dave.
So, Dave, what did I say I'd give you either way?
You give me 8 points.
No, I'm not going to give you 8 points. I said I was going to give you X amount of meters either way. You said 1,080. It's 1,280.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm so sorry.
I think you should recheck that.
Well, maybe you counted the trees. So we were going to the square level. You were adding in, what are those trees called, Byron? The Acacia albida. Maybe he was adding the length of those.
Yeah, I got some mountain acacias there.
Right, your second question, Dave. Your favorite animal is an elephant. Approximately how much does a large male elephant eat per day in kgs? Would you like some leniency?
Always.
So I'll give you 50 kgs either side. So I hope you weren't going to say 40.
150 kgs.
Would you like a stab, Byron? What do you reckon? 150 kgs. It's a lot, eh?
I would say 200.
So you're both on 50 kgs. You would have got your points there, Byron. But I can tell you that Dave Kirkman's hit it on the head, 150 kgs.
Wow. Well done, Dave.
Excellent. Golf clap.
Very good, David. Right. So at the end of that round, we can tell you that Byron Black leads Dave Kirkman 8 points to 6. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go too far as we finish conservation games between Dave Kirkman and Byron Black.
Our wildlife needs help. Tourism to Africa is at an all-time low. You can assist by liking and sharing the conservation games. You can contribute financially by hitting the donate button on the Zambezia.com website. Let's get together and back up the frontline conservation team.
Welcome back to the conservation games. We have two of the big five, talking from animals, but two of the biggest in sporting in Zimbabwe. Byron Black of the Leopards taking on Dave Kirkman of the Elephants. Great to have you guys on the show at the end of that segment as we enter into the last round of sporting questions. Byron Black narrowly leads Dave Kirkman 8 points to 6. If it was tennis in the last set, Byron Black would have won it. 8 points to 6, but it's not the end yet. We have another round of questions, and then we have the wacky wild cards. So we're going to get cracking. Dave Kirkman has some questions about himself for Byron Black. So off you go, Dave. You have 2 questions for Byron.
Byron, are you ready, mate?
I'm ready.
Good man. What years would I have played for Zimbabwe rugby?
1993 to 1998.
Are you nodding in disgust, or are you nodding because he's correct, Dave?
I'm nodding because he's correct.
And in disgust that he got it right.
No.
Byron picks up another 2, moves 10 points to 6. And you have one more question for him, Dave.
What senior schools did I go to?
You went to a whole bunch, but I think you ended up at Plumtree like my dad. Before that, St. George's.
He's going to fall off his chair with disgust, I think, Byron. How does Falcon sound, Dave Kirkman?
Sounds about right, Dirk.
Yo.
So Falcon and Plumtree. Not bad, Byron. You missed out on 1 point there. You picked St. George's instead of Falcon, but it still means that you lead 11 points to 6. You now have 2 questions for Dave out of your 4. When you're ready, you will ask Dave those 2 questions about yourself.
All right, Dave. What year did I turn professional?
It was...
He looks like a schoolboy in an exam. Check.
I'm just trying to find my...
No cheating.
Just trying to take my shoe off to get to my notes.
It's in those answers I sent you this morning, Dave.
Thanks, Dirk. It's 1992.
Very close, eh? 1991.
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 1 point. I think that's
Thank you. That's
fair. I think that's only fair, Byron. Help the poor guy out, man.
I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
Byron, what was your highlight in those years? It was a lengthy career.
Winning the French Open doubles with my American partner Jonathan Stark, and obviously not just the Mildura, the Australian win and Davis Cup, but all our Davis Cup, especially when we played in Zim. That was special times at the National Sports Centre, playing in front of all the local guys, and just coming home. I travelled so much; it was nice to come home and play for your country.
I think that for a lot of Zimbabweans and for many years to come, the big one would always be America coming and playing Davis Cup here, and Andre Agassi being seen at the City Sports Centre. What was that experience like? The other thing about the City Sports Centre that probably a lot of people don't know is it's the noise in there. I mean, it's an amphitheatre. It's like really hectic and noisy. The sort of atmosphere in there must have been amazing on the court.
Yeah, getting the Yanks, they were scared, those Yanks, when they heard about, especially our crowds. You know, they used to go along with a gun and throw the grenade. You remember those days? And they heard all this, Zimbabwe, don't go to Zimbabwe. It's loud, it's pretty aggressive, whatever. But it was all in their minds there. But Agassi had just come off winning the Australian Open. Sampras was supposed to join him and pulled out. So there was friction between those two guys. And listen, we had our chances, eh? We lost in the fifth rubber. I mean, Wayne lost to this guy, Chris Woodruff, in the fifth and final rubber. But it was an epic encounter. It was awesome. I think the crowd loved it.
Right. So without deterring too far, you still owe one question, Byron, to Dave about yourself. Am I right? You still have one question to ask.
I do.
The points there. Well done.
Dave, I'll ask you the easiest one, but they're not that easy, actually. I will ask you, what was my highest world singles ranking?
22.
Jeez, how do you know that so quickly?
He's been studying. No, he took his shoe off.
In your eyes.
Didn't you see him take his shoe off? 2 points for you, Mr. Kirkman. Congratulations. It still means that as we go into the last segment, which is the wacky wildcards, Byron leads you 11 sets to 9 in the tiebreaker. So 11 sets to 9 that Byron leads, and we are into our last segment. So because Byron leads the game so far, Byron, you're going to get to choose whether or not you want to go first or you'd like Dave to go first.
I'd like to let Dave show us his theatrical skills.
Right. So I've done a bit of a shuffle here, Dave. So I have 5 from this side. Pick a card.
Number 3.
I've seen a couple of these. Did you guys really watch Nick Mallet play Travis Friend?
Yeah.
No.
You did. The hippo yawn.
Let's give it a bash. I think I'll turn this way because there's more.
Ah, it looks like you've got a little bit of a river there. We can see the blue surface there. You know, do you think he's going to put some clothes on, Byron?
Yeah, I don't know what he's... Did he have a bit of warning?
I think he's gone for a leak. These rugby players. Are you having a doping test, Dave Kirkman?
Hey, it's time limit. 15 seconds.
Can you see me?
Yeah, we got you. Very good, Mr. Kirkman. Very good.
Jeez.
I'm chatting to the rector at Peterhouse about using props. Those look like hockey goalkeeper pads, but I thought that was outstanding, David. Well done. Are you nervous, Byron?
I'm getting a bit nervous now, eh? Jeez. I think we need a time limit, though.
Do you think so? Right. So, Byron, I've reshuffled. I can tell you that the hippo yawn is back in the pile, but you don't necessarily going to get it. So, there's your 5 cards from that side.
First from that side.
The It is the elephant ear flap and charge.
Okay, elephant ear flap and charge. All right.
Some room there, Byron.
What's that?
You need some room there.
Right. I need something here. Right. Can you guys see me?
Yes, we got you. Very good, Byron. I like that. Bit of impromptu props there for you in your work office. Very good elephant ears. I think the best elephant I've seen so far is Sean Irvin. He dressed up. I tell you what I'm going to do. David, I told you that I will never ever, unless you are the animal, to get 5 points.
Was a Chinese hippo.
You were very good, very good. It was called a yellow-beaked hippopotamus, which I thought was outstanding. All right. So, David, I'm going to give you 4 points.
Ooh.
And I'm going to give Byron Black for his impromptu sort of elephant ear. Right.
It was a bit weak. It was a bit weak, my one.
It was okay. I'm going to give you 3.
Too kind.
Byron wins 14-13.
Oh, Dave.
Good effort.
Tiebreaker.
It was a fantastic effort. Thank you so much for playing conservation games. Byron, before we sort of sign out, because you only lost by 1 point and you're an avocado farmer, could you organize an avocado face mask for Dave Kirkman and send it by DHL, please?
You're a funny guy.
Like you said, Dave, when you're separated by a screen, I can say whatever I want. I don't look forward to my next visit to Peterhouse, though. Byron, great to see you again, and it's been a long time, but I wish you all the best in your ventures, and good luck for your boys as they carry on the Black family trait, and we hope that we see them one day on the circuit playing tennis.
Appreciate it, Dirk. Come and visit us sometime. You too, Dave.
Yeah, we will do. Dave, always a pleasure. Unfortunately, you can't play Falcon today. Hard luck for that. We wish you well there at Peterhouse. I'm glad that you guys are all keeping well and doing the right thing. We hope that for you as well as you guys as educators and coaches and that very soon we can return to some normalcy. But for now, gents, keep your heads down, keep yourself safe, and enjoy the conservation games. Thank you for playing. All of those watching, thank you for watching, and we catch you the next time.